Hello, everyone, and welcome to Trans History Month right here in the state of California. My name is Haney. I am currently the director of the Office of Trans Initiatives in San Francisco. I'm also the former legislative director, the former district director. All the things for Assemblymember Matt Haney, who's part of the reason why we are here today. Today is about love. It's about acceptance. It's about celebrating diversity for all Americans here in California. We celebrate the fact that trans people are here, that they've always been here, that they will continue to be here in the state of California and across the world. We have a rich legacy and history that predates Stonewall. We can trace it back to the Compton's cafeteria riots, or the Cooper's Donuts riots, or so many incredible pieces of our history that aren't talked about enough. And that's why we are here today, to educate people, to provide information, to let people know who the trans community is, who we are, what we stand for, and what we have contributed to this country. Now, I want to bring up our first speaker. Again, he's the reason why many of us are here today, because he introduced the resolution to establish Trans History Month here in the state of California. Assemblymember Matt Haney proudly represents California's 17th Assembly District, encompassing the eastern side of San Francisco, and serves as the Assembly's Majority's Whip, the chair of the Fentanyl, Opioid Addiction, and Overdose Protection Select Committee, the Renters Caucus, and Downtown Recovery Select Committees, as well as the co-chair of the Irish Caucus. In addition, he serves on the local government organization, health judiciary, and appropriations committee. Please welcome one of my heroes, Assemblymember Matt Haney.
Well, thank you so much, Honey, and let me first just start out by saying Happy California Transgender History Month. Because of many of the people who are gathered here behind me, California became the first state in the country just last year to declare August Transgender History Month. So this is actually the first time, even though we did this last year, the first time that we are here to kick off California's first ever Transgender History Month. It's a huge, huge moment, and it's at a time when we have tremendous need to simply tell the truth. To simply tell the truth about trans people, their existence and contributions in this state. For as long as there has been a California, there have been trans people here and gender expansive people here contributing to our state in every single way, in the field of education, in the field of politics, in the fields of commerce, of trade, of exploration, of innovation, of culture, of art. There have been trans people there every step of the way here in California. And it is time that we tell that story and we celebrate them and their contributions. I want to recognize and thank everyone who is here, our MC, Haney, who is incredible and a huge part of why we are here, the LGBT Caucus, who is a co-sponsor of all of today's events, Jupiter Peraza, who came up with the idea of enshrining a Transgender History Month in the state of California after San Francisco had done it first a few years ago, and all of the organizations from across the state, the San Francisco Transgender District, which I represented on the Board of Supervisors and represent now, and I live in the Transgender District. And I'm always so proud to see when I walk down the street and to see the flags all over our district and the incredible contributions that they're making. The first transgender cultural district in the world. Equality California, Trans Family Services, El La Para Trans Latinas, the San Francisco Office of Transgender Initiatives, Sacramento LGBT Community Center, Trans Latina Coalition, Queer Humboldt, Parivar Bay Area, and the Rainbow Pride Youth Alliance. Can we give it up for all of these incredible organizations and the leaders that are represented here today? As we know, the LGBTQ community is facing unprecedented levels of attacks in state legislatures across the country. Over 500 anti-LGBTQ bills have been introduced, and the trans community is facing the brunt of these attacks. But we are here in California, and in California, we are a sanctuary state for the transgender community. Thanks to the people who are here today and the countless trans leaders across our state who have stood up for trans rights in our state. And as we've seen over the past few months, even here in California, the lack of familiarity or understanding has been exploited by those who want to attack the trans community. This effort to establish a Transgender History Month will bring awareness, education, and outreach, which will help to ensure that the rights of transgender people and gender-expansive people are understood and protected in our state. A guiding principle in so many social movements is that through education, knowledge, and history, we can build understanding and solidarity. We must learn from our history to build a future that protects and empowers all Americans, including trans people and their families. The proclamation signed by Mayor Breed on August 24, 2021, drew on San Francisco's rich transgender history, most notably the Compton's cafeteria riots of 1966, largely known as the first officially documented large-scale act of resistance of trans and queer individuals in the United States. But this history is not only San Francisco's, it is also California's. California boasts an extensive history of transgender and gender-expansive activism, from the Cooper Donut riot in Los Angeles to the Compton's cafeteria riots, from Sir Lady Java's historic anti-discrimination lawsuit to Reed Erickson's pioneering work expanding transgender medical resources, incredible thought leaders like Sandy Stone and Janet Mock, to artists and writers like Silas Howard and Wendy Carlos, to today's advocates and innovators like Jada O'Brien and Cal Calamia, who we will be awarding our first Trans Legacy and Trans Trailblazer Awards later on today. California has an outstanding history and has been at the forefront of trans contributions, not only to the movement for the recognition and protection of their rights, but also to our state's great history more broadly. We have been at the forefront of social justice movements, and that has to include trans liberation, along with designating California a sanctuary state. Recognizing an official Transgender History Month for our state has provided an opportunity to further educate and raise awareness of the many contributions of the transgender community throughout the state. I'm so proud to stand with the leaders here today to be in solidarity with them. I speak on behalf of my colleagues who voted overwhelmingly in support of the resolution passing declaring this month Trans History Month. We stand with you. We support you. We will continue to fight for you and your rights. And that starts with telling the truth about our history, telling the truth about our presence, and telling the truth about the incredible contributions of trans people and gender-expansive people in our state. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblymember Haney, for all of your work and your allyship. Here in California, we are currently making history with our next speaker. Lisa Middleton is an American politician who served as the mayor of Palm Springs from 2021 to 2022. A member of the Democratic Party, Middleton has served on the Palm Springs City Council since 2017 and is the first openly transgender person elected in California for a non-judicial position. After serving as mayor pro tempore of Palm Springs from 2020 to 2021, Middleton succeeded Christy Holsedge as the city's mayor on December 9th, 2021, and became the first openly transgender mayor in California. And now she is running for our state legislature. Please welcome Lisa Middleton.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It is a beautiful morning in Sacramento. So I want to begin by thanking Assemblymember Haney for his absolute and unwavering support. It is an honor for me to be here with Haney, Jupiter, and everyone else in recognition of Transgender History Month in California, in our state capital. We are the state that turns dreams into reality. We are the state that welcomes more people from more places than anywhere else in the world. And we are the state where nothing is impossible, including my seemingly impossible dream of one day standing before the world as a proud out and achieving transgender woman. Throughout our history, we have been marginalized, ridiculed, and left out. Most particularly left out of the workplace, where transgender people continue to experience enormous rates of under and unemployment. Even more seriously, I do not need to remind anyone here of the horrific violence endured by our community, most particularly by transgender women of color. But as our next president has assured us, we are not going back. We will never back down. We are standing up, and we will continue to stand up until every single one of us, everywhere, has an equal right of agency to live safely the truth of their own identity. We would not be here today at the state capitol but for the support and the work of incredible allies and friends, both within and outside the larger LGBT community. We know that the extremists are attacking us today because they believe they have found the weak link in the LGBTQ chain. Well, I've been called a lot of names. Weak is not one of them. In over half the states today, legislators duel with one another over who can make the most outrageous claims against us and pass the most horrific restrictions on our lives. But tell me, what kind of bravery is it for a grown man to stand in the halls of a legislature and pick on transgender children and their supportive parents? But I stand here today very proud. We have a story to tell, and like everyone else, we own our own history. We have lived the challenges, and our tears are ours to keep. But as well, our work, our victories, and our place at the table is a part of our history. In 2017, just 7 years ago, when I was elected to the Palm Springs City Council, out of over 519,000 elected officials from school board to president across the United States, a mere dozen of us were transgender. 7 years later, we've doubled and tripled that number, and we are not backing down. In Palm Springs, we rotate annually our mayor. In December of 2021, I had the honor of becoming California's first transgender mayor, and only the third transgender mayor in American history. Not only did Palm Springs not disappear into the desert, we in fact had one of the most prosperous years in our 86-year history. And in a few months, I intend to walk into that building behind us onto the Senate floor as California's first transgender legislator. Not in spite of my identity, but because of the life I lived, I am prepared to be the advocate for all, for everyone in eastern San Bernardino and eastern Riverside County. Transgender history is American history. It is human history. It is the history of a people who have faced a hard truth and did not back down. But it is equally the history of the enduring and universal values of respect, of honesty, and of dignity for all. Thank you.
Let's give it up one more time for our future Senator, Lisa Middleton. Up next, we have the creator of Trans History Month. Jupiter Peraza is a transgender advocate, community organizer, policymaker, SFSU, San Francisco State University alumna, and a DACA recipient. In 2021, she authored the original proclamation declaring August as Transgender History Month in the city and county of San Francisco. And in September of 2023, she worked alongside Assemblymember Matt Haney, myself, and Susan Stryker on H.R. 57, which declared August as Transgender History Month in the state of California. She is a fellow from the Women's Foundation of California, Dr. Solis Policy Institute, and Senate District 11's 2022 Woman of the Year. She's a former sitting member of the San Francisco Democratic County Central Committee and a sitting member of the Office of Trans Initiatives Transgender Advisory Council. Currently, Jupiter works with California's Department of Aging, UCSF School of Medicine, and UC Berkeley's Citrus Research Institute as the manager of statewide coalition at Open House for California's first baseline study on the aging experience of LGBTQIA+ older adults, otherwise known as a survey of LGBTQI+ older adults in California from challenges to resilience. Please welcome Jupiter Peraza.
Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? How is Sacramento today? Warm. Yeah. I am feeling so proud and so happy to be standing up here alongside such an incredible array of community leaders and organizers, executive directors of statewide trans-serving organizations. I would like to give us a very special thank you to Assemblymember Matt Haney for bringing this resolution forth last year, and to the incredible Haney, one of my mentors and the director of the Office of Transgender Initiatives. It fills me with so much joy that Transgender History Month has been embraced, in that it has extended outside of San Francisco. We signed Transgender History Month in 2021, in August 2021, on what would have been Marsha P. Johnson's 75th birthday. We didn't know until the day of, and it was just a sign from our transcestors in the universe that this was meant to be. In the following year, in 2022, Santa Clara County followed suit in declaring August Transgender History Month. And just a few days ago, I heard that the San Diego City Council declared August Transgender History Month as well, and all of which has occurred because of the leadership of the folks that are right behind me. It takes a village, and it wouldn't have been possible without them. But I also wanted to say that Transgender History Month is quickly coalescing into a vibrant tradition, one characterized by a plethora of new public information about trans people throughout history, the acknowledgement that trans history is universal history, and the newfound autonomy and agency by trans people in defining and claiming our own history. This commemoration remains an opportunity to recognize that because of pivotal transgender history, we have access to expansive ideas of liberation, social justice education, and grassroots methods of community organizing. California continues to pave the way in showcasing what it means to be a true ally to the trans community. As our future California legislator has mentioned, Lisa Middleton, California is a melting pot of bountiful and diverse life experiences. And it is such a joy that it has also embraced the contributions of trans people in California history. Just recently, California also became a sanctuary state for trans youth. And as more trans youth and trans people from across the country and across the world come to California, it is absolutely thrilling that there'll be an opportunity to learn about our history, to understand that we come from a lineage of pioneers, of folks that have really broken down barriers, of folks that have compromised and giving so much to live a life in authenticity. And California, one of the largest economies in the world, it is the state that it is because of trans people. And I couldn't be more proud of what this signifies and what this will mean for the future, to give the understanding that to be trans is beautiful. To be trans is to have self-love. And I just want other folks to know that as well. And it is also also about embracing how similar we are to one another. Regardless of background, of where we come from, we are still a people, and we are bound by aspirations of happiness, peace, and justice. And Transgender History Month very much represents that. I thank you all, and once again, I thank the leaders that are behind me in welcoming this amazing opportunity. Thank you all so much, and happy Transgender History Month.
Thank you, Jupiter, for all of your advocacy and your work. Up next, we have another activist for both immigrant rights and trans rights. Anjali Rimi is a Global South Kinar Indian immigrant transgender woman activist. She is the president and board chair of Central Immigrant Protection, that is home to the LGBT Asylum Project, and Parivar Bay Area, serving Global South transgender immigrants. Please welcome Anjali Rimi.
Good morning, namaste and salam. Thank you for the beautiful introduction, Haney. We are here to recognize Transgender History Month, and that is so important for us to celebrate on this beautiful morning. Today is a historic day in California as we celebrate this pivotal historic moment. History is being made, and this will guide our future, our trans futures. Let's express our gratitude to Assemblymember Haney for bringing forward the resolution to commemorate the first statewide recognized Transgender History Month. We celebrate that our transgender trailblazing state of California, caught me saying transgender state, right? State of California once again leads the way in recognizing and uplifting our transgender histories. This initiative is a monumental step towards building a world right here in California and beyond filled with trans joy, trans belonging, trans unity, and trans thriving. I am greatly honored to represent the LGBT Legislative Caucus Advisory Council here today. From day one, we organized together to ensure that the community voice and engagement are real-time and dynamic. Our council remains committed to furthering transgender equity and advancing protections and rights for TGNCI communities, families, and individuals across every inch of the state within our rainbow community and for all of us within the LGBTQ+ community. A testament of our work, I'm proud to share, is the tireless advocacy that led to the passage of the Safety Act. California is now the first state in the nation to prohibit forced outing policies of LGBTQ+ students in schools. This groundbreaking act, AB 1955, introduced by Assemblymember Chris Ward and the California Legislative LGBTQ Caucus, and now signed into law by Gavin Newsom, our dear governor, ensures that protections against forced outings in schools and letting LGBTQ+ students and their families deserve the right to decide on their own terms how their journeys unfold. This law will ensure fulfilling childhoods and learning experiences, drastically reducing the trauma that many in my generation will still carry for our lifetime because of disrespected and outed childhoods. I came to California 21 years ago with the hope to belong and to be myself. Today I can say I live a whole life, and we live as a trans family with my two immigrant parents and as myself as an Indian transgender immigrant woman, making history on so many fronts. Many others like me from distant and adjacent lands seek a place of belonging and a chance to just live and breathe proudly as TGNCI people. We don't take these journeys for granted, but we are the ones who have remained, prevailed, and uplifted our community needs, making history and against all hate. This is only because of California and can only be possible in California. And in California, trans people will not be erased. What can I say? This is the transgender spirit of California that must be celebrated every single day, not just today. Every day, somewhere in the state, Somewhere in every inch of the state, there is history being made by transgender people just by living or just by bringing monumental legislation. Shout out to Jupiter. Across healthcare systems, legal systems, workplaces, schools, universities, families, housing spaces, and so many other places. Thank you all for coming out today to recognize the significant moment that will remain in history, so important to California as we commemorate August as Transgender History Month. As we witness the courage of the transgender community that I proudly belong in, we must also applaud all the visionaries who made trans history possible and came before us. And we can never forget the roads that they paved for us to walk and be proud of ourselves. So give it up to our transcestors and transblazers. Congratulations and happy Transgender History Month. Salam namaste pauperti.
Thank you, Anjali. We are at the end of our press conference, but before I go, I want to just give some respect to Mamaru and ask you all to join me. Everybody say love. Love. Everybody say love. Love. That's right. Happy Trans History Month. Thank you to Assemblymember Haney and all of his staff, especially Mackenzie Ewing, his current district director, for making today happen. Thank you.